In a world completely different from ours, magic exists. The Dark Lord Satan wages a campaign with his 4 generals, Ultramech, Lucifer, Alciel, and Malkoda, to conquer the multiple island continent under his realm of darkness. However, a brave human soon arose and led the human armies against the dark forces and pushed them back to their stronghold.
Here, with advice from Alciel, Satan faces off against the hero, but eventually admits defeat, and instead, along with Alciel, opens up a dimensional portal and leaves their world with a vow to return. The portal exists in present-day Japan, and in addition to being shocked by their new human forms, Satan and Alciel are taken to the nearest police station. Here, Satan is able to learn a bit about this new world, which lacks magic. As events progress, Satan and Alciel get new identities, and are able to secure a residence, open a bank account, and go job hunting in order to survive. Sometime later, on his way to his part-time job at McRonald's franchise, Sadao encounters a beautiful scarlet-haired girl at a crosswalk, and offers her his umbrella to shield from the rain. While Sadao walks, he entrusts Ashia to take care of their domestic needs, as well as research means to replenish their magic powers and return to Ente Isla. While at McRonald's, Sadao not only experiences a seemingly random mild earthquake, but faces a dilemma on whether to use his remaining magic to repair the broken flyers, eventually not getting a chance to either way. Nonetheless, while impressing his fellow co-worker Chiho Sasaki with his people skills as well as the higher-ups through his dedication, he's able to secure a permanent position. As he excitedly pedals his bicycle home to tell Ashia, he is once again confronted by the scarlet-haired girl, who is revealed to be the hero from their dimension, Emilia Justina. In the wake of Satan and Alciel's departure from Ente Isla, Emilia and her comrades decided to give chase. Back in present-day Japan, Sadao tries to reason with Emilia, now under the identity Emi Yusa, but she instead pulls a cheap knife out of her bag and makes to attack him. Afterward, they both are arrested and brought to a police station for questioning, where the officer in charge mistakes them for having a lover's quarrel, much to Emi's protest. On their way home, Emi threatens Sadao by letting him know that she knows where he lives, although he just shrugs. The following day, it is revealed that Emi works at a call center and does a bit of domestic shopping after work. Later that night, while feeling angry that she isn't living a better lifestyle than Sadao, she pays them a visit. Ashia, in shock, locks her out, and while she sobs and begs for them to let her in, Sadao casually explains her circumstances to him. After remarking on Sadao's pathetic lifestyle, she explains to him that she, along with her priest, Olba Maya, were going to follow them through the portal before it disappeared, but she ended up being the only one transported. Sadao then explains that he will work his way up the workforce and eventually take over Japan, which Emi again finds pathetic before she leaves. Over the next few days, Emi begins stalking Sadao and Ashia around town and learns that they are living good, humble lives. She then visits Sadao at McRonald's and asks to meet him after work at a crosswalk. Chiho Sasaki, noticing Emi's beauty, becomes jealous and later asks Sadao about the recent earthquakes and learns that he is living with a male roommate, much to her relief. Afterward, while meeting Emi, she asks Sadao if he had ever considered staying in the human world, but he explains that he will return to rule Ente Isla before he is pathetically knocked onto the ground. They both soon realize that they are being fired at with magic bullets from a sniper and make to escape. As Sadao realizes that they have a common enemy, he casually blames Emi before leaving for the night. Emi, however, shows up again at his apartment, much to his suspicion of an ambush. She awkwardly asks if she could stay the night, since she lives a distance away and lost her wallet while they were escaping. Sadao casually gives her sanctuary again, to Ashia's shock, as Emi tearfully ponders to herself how that situation arose. That night, Sadao receives a mysterious text from Chiho, warning him that more earthquakes are on the way. The following morning, Emi leaves Sadao and Ashia pickles from the ingredients they had in the fridge as thanks. At the same time, the national news broadcasts a report mentioning the shooting that Emi and Sadao were involved in. Chiho can't help but feel delighted as Satan accepts her offer to meet and talk about the earthquakes, with caution from her mother to be wary of muggers. Meanwhile, Emi receives an anonymous call at work from the very same enemy who shot at them the previous night, explaining that destroying both her and Satan would be in Ente Isla's best interests. Later, the police are able to track down Sadao due to his bicycle, and Emi is forced to vouch for his identity. As they leave the station, Emi tells Sato about their common enemy and warns him to be careful since killing him is her job. Afterward, Ashia buys Sato new clothes for his date with Chiho. Finally, it's 5 p.m., the time of the date. Unbeknownst to Sato, Ashia follows them to a nearby cafe to make sure nothing happens to Sato. As she suspiciously watches them, Emi catches him in the act and is utterly shocked to see Sato on a date, and enviously remarks at Chiho's cute appearance. She drags Ashia into the cafe so they can eavesdrop. During the date, Chiho explains to Sato that she had been hearing a strange language lately, and that the people speaking were trying to contact someone and made references to a large earthquake soon to occur. Sato realizes that the phenomena were an interdimensional communication system called Ideal Link, and that the earthquakes were most likely caused by a sonar spell trying to detect him and Emi. At this time, Sato notices Emi walk into the cafe and loudly makes his intention known of helping Chiho. As Chiho is about to confess to Sato, she is stopped by Emi, and Chiho misunderstands by thinking that she's Sato's ex-girlfriend, and they get into a loud argument then and there. Suddenly, a large-scale earthquake strikes. When Chiho awakens surrounded by devastation, she and Emi make up, and Emi warns her not to get close to Sato before using a sleep spell on her. With Chiho unconscious, Emi calls out to Satan, who appears from some debris in his demonic form with increased amounts of magic. As Emi thinks that she has enough magic left to conjure a sword strong enough to kill him, Satan tells her that he will save them. As Satan moves the debris, Emi, in a shocked state, wonders why he would want to save them. Satan continues to use his magic to clear the debris and keep everyone in the mall out of harm's way, and in the aftermath, the authorities report that there were no casualties. In a flashback to Ente Isla, a young Emilia enjoys her carefree days with her father, and they talk that the village priests will protect them from the Dark Lord's tyranny. Soon, the same priests show up to take Emilia away from her father, who tells her that she is the only one who can defeat the Dark Lord, being a human-angel hybrid. Emilia laments that this was the last time she ever saw her father since the Dark Lord's forces destroyed their village, killing him. She then trains to use the holy sword Better Half and vows to slay the Dark Lord. Back in the present, Sato reverts to his human form and learns that Chiyo Sasaki is the daughter of Inspector Sasaki, whom he used the spell on to get information when they first arrived in Japan. Sato relays this to Emi, explaining that Chiho must have gotten feedback from the spell, which is how she intercepted the Ideal Link. He further explains that the earthquake was no coincidence since it struck the exact spot they were both at, and that the enemy didn't try again when they got out of the debris because he started to regain his powers. Afterward, Emi spends the night at her coworker, Rika Suzuki's place. Here, Rika talks about how the human nature can change in the face of adversity, with people choosing to become like demons or angels. Rika turns on the national news, which reports that the series of muggings have increased, and casually teases Emi about being in a relationship with Sato after seeing them together following the earthquake, causing her to again ponder why Sato had saved all those people. The next day, Emi shows up at Sato's apartment and falls down the stairs. As Ashia leaves to buy bandages, Emi grows upset at the kindness Sato had been showing towards her, claiming that it's out of character. She further bursts into tears and states that her reason for wanting to kill him is because of his tyranny over the people of Ente Isla that led to her father's death. As Sato laments that back then he didn't understand people's feelings, Ashia walks in with Chiho, who misunderstands the scene and runs away with a broken heart. Just then, their landlady, Miki, comes in and advises that they all go after Chiho and makes references to the Ideal Link and sonar spell. At the same time, two of Emilia's comrades from Ente Isla hurry through another portal to Japan. While tearfully admitting that she had fallen in love with Sato, Chiho bumps into a strange person who tells her he will use her envy and despair of the Dark Lord and the hero to surpass Satan. He then manifests black wings, and as Sato, Emi, and Ashia approach from afar, an explosion occurs and the winged person takes to the air. As Sato, Ashia, and Emi climb the rubble, Sato acknowledges the person, Demon General Lucifer. Emi asks Lucifer how he survived their previous battle on Ente Isla. Sato is able to deduce that he was aided by Olba Mayer, who reveals himself behind Lucifer much to Emi's shock. Sato further states that Olba was the only one who could have schemed against him and Emi, and that he was going to assume power in Ente Isla after killing them and promising to return Lucifer to heaven in exchange for his help. Lucifer then attacks them, with Ashia taking a near-fatal hit, causing Sato and Emi to flee. Sato explains that Lucifer draws his magic from people's negative emotions, and thus was responsible for the string of muggings reported in the area. which he realized after his own magic returned during the mall collapse when the victim's fear fueled his own power. Since he could have regained his magic any time, Lucifer asks Sato why he didn't throw the world into chaos, and he states that he doesn't want to cause trouble for the present world that treated him well. Just as Lucifer uses Chiho's emotion to attack them with a barrage of magic bullets. Ulba appears with a gun and shoots Sato's leg, just as he teleports them to the front of the crowded Sasazuka station. Here, as the crowd looks on in awe at the spectacle, a magic bullet seemingly kills Sato. Lucifer then attacks the overloaded roadway, and it collapses straight towards Emi and Chiho. Just then, Satan emerges in his demonic form and saves Emi and Chiho from being crushed. Emi realizes that he teleported them into the crowded area on purpose so he could feed off of everyone's fear and regain his magic. Satan then projects a barrier around the entire city, knocking all the civilians unconscious. Emilia summons her magic and takes to the skies and engages Lucifer in aerial combat. Emilia is saved from a strong attack by Ashia, also in his demonic form, explaining that Satan's magic saved him from death. Lucifer outmatched Kuroses Ulba to use his remaining magic to help him. Satan promises to show Chiho how the soft serve machines work later and lets the debris down gently. Ulba begins attacking with lightning magic but is defeated by LCL. Finally, Satan rises into the air, having gained enough magic power, appearing in front of the petrified Lucifer and finishes him with a multi-layered magical punch. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you in the next one.